Today in the canning kitchen, we'll be making dill pickles. We will need 8 pounds of pickling cucumbers, fresh dill for every single jar, 4 cups of white vinegar with the 5% acidity, 3/4 cup sugar, a half cup of a non-iodized or canning salt, 3 tablespoons of pickling spice or any other spices you would like, and pickle crisp. This amount depends on the size of jar you use. Today's recipe calls for 7 pint jars. I opt for a wide mouth jar because it's a lot easier to get the pickles in and out. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and get them into my water bath canner, and then after that we'll go ahead and start our brine. Now that the jars are warming in the water bath, we can go ahead and start our brine. So I can go ahead and turn on my burner. We will first need 1 quart of water, followed by 1 quart of white vinegar with a 5% acidity, three-quarters cup of sugar, a half cup of a non-iodized salt or canning and preserving salt, followed by our pickling spice. Here I'm using our traditional store-bought pickling spice. You can go ahead and add your spices directly to your brine or use a spice bag or something similar to this jelly bag. I'm going to go ahead and opt to add it directly into my brine. I'm going to go ahead and stir together my brine, working to dissolve everything. We're going to try to get this to come to a boil. We'll need it to boil for about 15 minutes. In the meantime, I'm going to go ahead and start prepping my washed cucumbers. As always, we want to cut off both the blossom end. Then I'm going to go ahead and choose a spear type pickle. Cut it lengthwise and then desired size spears that I would like. One tip I have is if you have an extra jar, measure the size of your cucumbers against your jar. So as you can see here, I'm going to have to cut off a little bit extra of each of my cucumbers. I'm going to continue preparing the remainder of my cucumbers, making sure to keep track of my brine and stirring as needed. Since this is almost done simmering, I'm going to go ahead and get the remainder of my things together, including my flat lids, rings, and pickle crisp. Since our brine has finished boiling for 15 minutes, it's time for us to go ahead and fill our jars. Take one jar out of the canner, and we're going to pack our pickles as tight as possible into each of these jars. As you can see, this one's a little bit tall, so I'm going to go ahead and trim it to be a little bit shorter to fit in the jar. All of these miscellaneous pieces I usually can at the very end. Once the pickles are packed tight, I'm going to go ahead and add in some fresh dill. Followed by our pickle crisp. Since I'm using a pint jar, I'm going to use 1/8 of a teaspoon of pickle crisp. If I was using quart jars, it'd be 1/4 of a teaspoon of pickle crisp. Next, we're going to go ahead and use our funnel and our ladle and pour over our fresh brine. If you used a spice bag, now's the time to go ahead and pull it out. We're going to ladle in our hot brine, making sure we leave a 1/2 inch headspace. We're going to go ahead and finger tighten our lid and return it to the canner and repeat this process with the remainder of our cucumbers. Once all jars have been filled and returned to the canner, we're going to go ahead and wait until the water bath begins to boil. As you can see here, I'm using the last of my cucumber pieces from when I was cutting them down to size. With my water bath now boiling, I'll go ahead and start a 15-minute timer. After processing for 15 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and turn off my burner and remove my lid to cool down. Then I will set another 5-minute cool down timer. After 5 minutes, it's now time to remove my pickles from the canner and let them cool overnight. After 12 to 24 hours, it is safe to test my seal, wash, and store them for future use.